Well, I'd like to welcome everyone. This is our press conference leading up to the Battle of Plattsburgh that's coming up shortly. We did want to cover a few different things today. I'm just going to go down the press release that we sent everyone and kind of cover the topics for you. The first thing coming up is tomorrow night over at Buster's Sports Bar. We're having a fundraising event that's going to run from 6:30 to 9:30 to help us generate the funds we need to finish off this year's Battle of Plattsburgh. We're getting close, but we're still a little short, so get the word out so everybody come over to Buster's tomorrow. We're going to have live music. We're going to have the Adirondack two-step, which Rod over here is a part of. It's a Celtic and old-time fiddle group, jam contraband. I have a silent auction, door prizes, great food, and there is drink available. I can't talk about that. But anyhow, it's going to be a fun time. So if you get the word out, everybody come and join us. It'd be great. And then leading into the actual kickoff for the Battle of Plattsburgh, which this year is going to be on Thursday the 9th over at Valcour Brewing Company. And we're starting out with an afternoon event for families, community. And the theme of this year's event has kind of morphed into recognizing our veterans, honor flight people, and our frontline workers that got us through the year and that we just came through. And so we have the local police departments and the New York State Police, emergency controls, the fire department. They're all setting up informational booths to get to know the community, stuff for the kids. They're going to have a McDonald's house over there. It's going to be a fun time from like 1 to 4 in the afternoon. And then we're kind of switching gears and moving into a more adult-themed evening from 4 to 6. The band Fulton's Folly will be playing, and then from 7:30 to 9:30 it will be all without the bass. We're going to have a welcome from the mayor and some legislators and myself from the balcony, kind of with these guys in the back dressed in uniform behind us, kind of urging us on. Maybe John Quincy Adams might say a few words for us that night too, so it should kind of be a fun thing to do. Valcour Brewing is going to be our Israel Green's Tavern for the night. They'll be giving discounts for people that are wearing our buttons, and we'll go over and decorate like we did in years past. So the idea this year was to involve the whole community, and many years we haven't really had anything on that end of town, so it's a great idea that we're going to start over there and then move back downtown starting on Friday, which is another busy day. On Friday, we have all the usual events, kicking off with our big attraction of the Bear Tracks in concert that evening, and followed by our Rockets Red Glare fireworks, which we have every year, which has, again, this year been sponsored by Eagle Nest Veterinary Clinic. They've been very great about doing that every year for us, and we really appreciate them doing it again this year. And again, the idea is we're going to have chairs for all of the honor flight people, all of the veterans. We've invited veterans in all areas to come and get recognized because they've worked hard, especially with what is going on in the world today with Afghanistan and everything. It's super important that we do some recognition for those people. And on top of that, our first responders and frontline workers from last year and ongoing into this year. Leading into our featured band, our man Stan Ransom and Peter Cadeau will be giving us some songs from the old. And we look forward to that. The other thing we wanted to talk about today is the award that we are getting from the William G. Pomeroy Corporation. Or actually, it's a foundation. We applied for a grant from that organization. They responded saying that, well, we'll give you a grant of $10,000 if you match it. Show us you can raise $10,000 and we'll match it. We are right now in the last couple weeks of that. We're about 3/4 of the way there. Our organization is a non-for-profit. The entire Battle of Plattsburgh, all 4 days, is funded through sponsorships, grants, and donations. So anyone out there that loves the Battle of Plattsburgh, loves all the things we do, it all works when you donate something. You can go to our website, 1814inc.com. There's a donation page there. You can give each one of us a call. We're still doing donations for our fundraiser tomorrow night, so if any of the businesses out there have something they'd like to give us, you're more than welcome to. We'd appreciate it. And I'll quickly go through the specifics of the battle this year. We're starting out on Thursday with our typical ceremonies, one up at Culver Hill. That'll be at 11 o'clock. And then the functions will move over to Israel Green's Tavern, which is at the Valcour Brewing Company, with the outdoor festivities for the kids in the community, entertainment, and welcome from the balcony of the Old Stone Barracks. There's going to be walking tours. We're working together with the Clinton County Historical Association. They'll be doing walking tours of the old base, and some of the breweries might be open over there if people are interested in that part of it. At 4 o'clock, we'll move back over to another ceremony at Riverside Cemetery, which will be hosted by our man Tim Horton back in the corner over there. And then we're moving down, and then we'll go back over to finish the night over at Valcour Brewery with good music and fun and camaraderie for everyone. Friday morning, all the museums in the city will be open. We have reenactors arriving for the campsite over at the Kent-Delord House. They'll be setting up over there. There'll be the tours going on in the base and some of the museums in town. We're going to have music in the park. Also, our information booths and all the information about the whole Battle of Plattsburgh will be available at the information booth. Encouraging people to buy a button. The button has been done for many years. As a matter of fact, this is the 23rd time that the Battle of Plattsburgh commemoration is being put on here in the city. And we're glad to be working with the city this year. Throw out a little thanks to the mayor and everything they're doing to help us, and also collaboration with the supervisor, Cashman, in the town of Saranac, that's where I live, town of Plattsburgh. But a big thanks is going to go out to all of the volunteers. Again, everyone that's working, every one of our people in this room, and many more behind them, are all working to make this thing happen, and nobody's getting paid. They just do it because they love it. And we hope that the community enjoys it and comes out in big droves to enjoy an almost all outdoor commemoration this year. Because of COVID, we weren't sure how this was going to work out, and there are some concerns right now about COVID, but almost everything we're doing this year is outside. There's only 2 indoor events, and they're the history talks, and they're going to be taking place in the Trinity Church next door. So we're working daily with the health department, keeping aware of what is going on, and if there are restrictions, we will have masks available and sanitizer and everything, and we're playing it day by day, as is any other business in the area at this time. Some of the kind of new things that we're doing this year that we haven't had, we usually have the noon Rotary, I believe it's the noon Rotary, put on the bed races every year. And again, because of COVID and not knowing if the students were going to be back to college this year, they've kind of adjusted that, so they're just going to have one race this year. It's going to be between Roducky and Bergie, the 2 mascots. And they're going to have a bed race on Friday morning. Or is that Saturday morning? Saturday morning, I'm sorry. And then they'll have a rematch later that afternoon with a tricycle race. So they've switched things up a little bit, which could be fun. The farmers market's going to be open down the road. Again, many of the exhibit in the city hall here will be open to the public, so they can come in and see about the anchors and all the murals that are in the building. And the Children's Old Time Fair will be set up around the monument as it has in years past, with all the different exhibits and hands-on crafts for the kids and adults, everyone. I kind of call it Grandparents' Day because, once you become a grandparent, that's what your job is, take the kids to things. So maybe next year we'll rename it. And of course, the regular kids' games with Chris and Stan are going to be set up right outside. We have a question at the back of the room.
5K.
It's coming. Those are one of the new things we're bringing back, the 5K run on Saturday morning. It'll start right here in City Hall Place, run up Cumberland Avenue, make some loops, and come back down and end down here. And another new thing we're adding is on Sunday afternoon is a fire truck pull, which hasn't been done in years, and that should be a lot of fun. So we're trying to add new things. The Crab Island ceremony will still take place on Saturday. And then The big event of every year is the parade, and we're working hard to make it a really good parade again this year. Unfortunately, many of the bands that used to be in the parade came from Canada, and with the border being closed, they're not allowed to come across. And we talked to many of the members and the band leaders that, and even if they were available to come across, they haven't been able to practice in a year because of COVID. So we have worked out an agreement this year that the band from Norwich University's marching band is coming over. It's the oldest marching band in the United States. 82 members strong, should be a great event. That'll be our big draw for those. We also have the sailing masters and the fife and drum, Plattsburgh fife and drum people. It'll be fun. There's a lot of interest in the parade from local people that want to be in it. So, you know, kids will come out and watch a parade no matter who's in it. So I think we're going to have a good time. We'll have the beat retreat, which we have every year with the Battle of the Bands. And then we'll wrap up that evening with the Macomb Ball upstairs here, old-time English dancing. And on Saturday night, Buster's Sports Bar will be our Israel Greens Tavern. We're going to be decorating over there in the back area, so the people will have a place to go for good food and drink. Sunday morning, the typical worship services will happen. Shape Note Singers will be over at the Kent-Delord House lawn. One new addition this year, we're working with the North Country Classic Car Group to do a car show along the City Hall place here, which will be fun to come down and see. And again, the Children's Old Time Fair will still be going on that day. The monument will be open. Kids' games will still be going on. And then there'll be Mr. Driscoll and his group will be playing 2 Tall String Band on Saturday. There's going to be a dedication of the historical markers over at the old base. They have 3 or 4 new historical markers that'll be dedicated and open to the public. And also at the end of the day on Sunday at the old base, there'll be dedications of historical markers for the old stone base, which is the old stone barracks, which is now the Valcour Brewery. And they have I think 7 different markers they're setting up over there. And then this is an event that people seem to forget about because it's at the end, but maybe it's one of the most important events. It's the Old Post Cemetery ceremony. Judy is in charge of that. She set it up every year. This year she also has worked hard to go around the Old Post Cemetery and locate different graves. She's put little flags by them with information about who's buried there. So it gives the public an opportunity to come early, walk through the graveyard, kind of get some information about what's going on over there, who is over there buried, and then the dedication for the Tomb of the Unmarked Soldier. And that pretty much will wrap up this year's event. We all have been working hard. We still have a couple more weeks to go. Again, we put out posters for volunteers, and I asked you guys to, put the word out for volunteers, but from my point of view as president of the association and in charge of running the Battle of Plattsburgh, what we really need is committee members. Volunteers are good for that day, but then they disappear. So what we need is people that are interested in history, that want to make a difference, that'll join our group and work the whole year long to make this thing a great event. And you can't just have 5 or 6 people doing it. It takes a group to do it. So that's my explanation of what we're doing this year. I'm very welcome to take questions if anyone has any, or we can talk afterwards. It's simply up to you. Mary Simmers has a question.
I understand you've got a good speaker for Riverside and Culver Hills Memorials. I think Tim can...
Yes, our speaker this year, our keynote speaker at the Riverside Memorial Cemetery is Colonel David Fitzsimmons, who's a well-known author and historian. So we're really looking forward to him speaking there.
Okay, very nice.
Keith Harkalo is the speaker for the Old Post Cemetery.
Keith is speaking. Very good. Very nice.
And Crab Island, of course, John Rock will have them out on Crab Island.
Right. And he did say to mention this year that, they're going to have docks there where across from Crab Island so that people can go down there with their binoculars and actually view the ceremony right from the docks because there's very limited space to bring people over there. So, yes.
Hi, I notice in the schedule of events that you've got the reenactor encampments and the equipment demonstrations, but I don't see reenactments.
Correct.
What's going on there?
Want to say a few words, Mr.
Can you
Reenactor?
come up to the
Come on
mic,
up
sir?
here. I had to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot. But there's a very good reason for that.
And give your name too.
Hi, I'm Paul Miller. I'm the chairman of the Reenactors for the Battle of Plattsburgh, and we will be having all sorts of demonstrations down at the Kent-Delord House Museum Saturday and Sunday. We'll have representatives from around Plattsburgh, from around New York State, and even in Vermont. Unfortunately, we won't have our Canadian friends this year, and they are actually the majority of our British reenactors. So even though we won't have an opposing forces battle, do come down to the Kent-Delord House Museum, because we'll have crafts, tinsmithing, blacksmithing, as well as military weapons demonstrations. We'll have a military-style bateau in the yard of the Kent-Delord House. And I personally am actually doing a display all about military discipline and justice. So if you see any deserters, do send them down to the Kent-Delord House, and we will take care of them. So yeah, instead of having an opposing forces battle, we're going to try to do something more face-to-face, more one-on-one. So yeah, come down to the Kent-Delord House for the reenactments this year. Thank you.
Thank you.